Alrighty, it is time for another horror film review. So, this movie that we're talking about today is actually part of a series. So this is going to be episode 1 of a 4-video series in this franchise, and it's not one that's super well known, but it is very interesting to me, and I really like it, and I'll get into that later. And I wanted to do another series. The last one I talked about was I believe Texas Chainsaw Massacre, back in August, and I wanted to do something else that I could rank, but something that wasn't super long. Because I'm doing my my 31 films for 31 days of Halloween, and that's going smashingly. So I just wanted to do a little side note on this, and so the movie I'm going to be talking about today, the first film in this series, is going to be Tombs of the Blind Dead from 1972. This film was directed by Amando de Ossorio. Sorry if I said that wrong. It stars Lone Fleming and Caesar Burner. Those are kind of our main people in this movie. So I'll show you this. This is just the Blue Underground version of it. It's a good little DVD, and it actually includes the English version and the Spanish version. So there are some differences. I'll get into that in a little bit. I'm talking about the English version today. So anyway, yeah. So this movie, I kind of heard about it. I'll just kind of tell my history with this. Just a few years ago, probably 4 years ago or so, I was just kind of scrolling through Amazon and eBay, and I just kept seeing the Blind Dead collection, which was also, it was released by Blue Underground, and it has all 4 of the films, from the Blind Dead collection, in there. And I kept seeing it everywhere, and I'd never heard of the Blind Dead, except for in that, and I didn't know anything about it. And so I saw that box set. It's a coffin. It's kind of a coffin-shaped box set, and I saw it several times for fairly cheap, but I never picked it up just because I never thought about it. And then fast forward, to, well, not now because I've had these for a little while now, but fast forward a little bit, and I find out about I go to kind of see that box set again, or it comes up again, and it's fairly expensive. I mean, it's not too bad, I guess, but I mean, it's about $100, generally is what what I'm seeing it for, and I found them cheaper individually, so I bought them that way. And like I said, I've had these for a while now, but they're very interesting movies. I didn't know anything about them going in. I thought they were just going to be another stereotypical, I guess, old 70s Italian zombie movie, and they're not Italian films. I forgot to mention they're Spanish films, so these are Spanish zombies. And so basically what happens in this movie is it starts out, and like I said, this is the English version, and there is an English and a Spanish version. So the English version is slightly different. Some things are edited around to make it kind of flow. I don't know if I'd say better or worse or whatever, and there are a few scenes cut, so there are some differences, but I think I like the way that the English version is edited a little bit better. That's just me, but and it's in English. It's not the best dub, of course, but the Spanish version. If you want to watch, I guess, the true definitive version, check out the Spanish version. And another interesting fact about this movie, before I kind of get into the plot synopsis, is this movie was actually, I believe, shot like the trailer, the very opening. You kind of start out in some ruins, and that was shot to be like a Planet of the Apes sequel, the original Planet of the Apes films, and I thought that was really interesting that this came from that, so I thought that was cool. So and there actually is a little on the back. One of the extras is you get the alternate opening scene where it's titled "Revenge from Planet Ape." But yeah, and this movie is also known as just The Blind Dead. So when you start it up as, in the English version, it is The Blind Dead. But it also has another title called The Night of Blind Terror, which in Spanish is La Noche de Terror Ciego, I believe is how you say that, But anyway, so this movie basically starts out. It shows the Knights Templar is who it is, and like I said, I don't want to spoil too much about it, but it is the Knights Templar, and they are sacrificing this woman and eating her basically, and so then we cut back to, I guess, what is modern day, in 72, and where it shows these temple ruins, and it's really interesting. It really sets up a nice atmosphere to the movie. It really kind of I love the opening to this film. It's great. It does drag just a little bit. It's a very long opening, but it definitely establishes the mood of this movie. And so then we fast forward again to like this hotel, kind of resort place, and these two women meet, and one of them is on a vacation with her husband, and the other is just kind of there by herself. And they're supposedly they used to be best friends, and they used to hang out all the time when they were younger. And sorry about that. They used to hang out and all this and blah 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 blah. So the boyfriend or husband or whoever of the other guy, the other lady, he's like, we were going camping. Maybe you'd like to come with us. So they all kind of agree, and they end up going, and they're on this train, and they're going to wherever they're going to go and camp, I guess. And it comes to find out that the two women used to be lovers at one point in time, many years ago when they were younger. And the husband, I guess, knows about this, or he finds out about it in some way. So he's like, oh damn, I'm gonna get lucky, And so the one girl's like, no, we're not doing this. So she jumps. His partner that he originally comes there with is like, no, we're not doing this. I'm gonna jump. I'm jumping off the train. So she does, and out in the middle of nowhere, and the train won't stop because they know the legend of the Knights Templar. So anyway, she stumbles upon these ruins from the opening of the movie, and she decides to just camp out there. And while she's there in the middle of the night, the Blind Dead, the Knights Templar, zombies rise from the dead and basically kill her. So, and that is another thing, I'll say about this is, so when the director has said that these are not zombies; they are more like mummy vampires. Which, okay, I mean, if that's what the director says, that's fine. But these are, to me, they're straight up zombies. And there's nothing wrong with whatever you want to call them, but I will refer to them as zombies throughout this series. So anyway, they look great. There you see them on the front whenever they first come out. They're excellent. They make these really scary kind of. There's this. It's not. It's the same sound effect played over and over, but they have this kind of scream sound effect with them, or this yelling sort of sound. It's all distorted, and it sounds so spooky, and just the way they move, and they're so slow, but they're very creepy, and they have this, and they do kind of look goofy, I guess, because they are just kind of stick. They're kind of mummy hands, on a stick, and they don't move. Whenever they reach out, they're just kind of moving like this, and grabbing things like, with this open. But it's so funny and goofy, but it works, and they are fairly chilling. And like I said, they are blind. We'll get in. That goes into the lore of the Knights Templar. But anyway, so the first scene where we get to see the blind dead rising from their crypts. That's awesome. I love that. They're all in slow motion, and they have horses that are undead, and So anyway, they kill this woman, like I said, and so her partner and her ex-lover, I suppose we'll call her best friend, they go to these temple ruins to find her with a group of other people, and which are, I believe the other two people are cops or detectives or whatever, and they're trying to kind of uncover what happened, and they end up having to stay the night there. And then of course the Knights Templar, these zombies, they rise and they kill them. So that's kind of the gist of the movie. I'm not gonna, again, I'm not gonna spoil it or anything like that. It does have, I like the ending. Okay, it's kind of, I mean, it's all right. It's not the best ending either. I'll say that, but that doesn't matter, because again, we're gonna get a sequel anyway. So. The thing about this movie is the creatures, the zombies, they look so freaking cool. Like they look great. They're just kind of these skeleton rotting masks. And they make such creepy sound effects, and they're slow. Like, I mean, they're slow as molasses, but you can't kill them in this movie. They're indestructible, and there's so many of them. And this movie just has the heaviest kind of mood behind it. It's all about kind of the atmosphere, especially in this first one. And in this one, especially the beginning, like the first half, it's not. It's kind of slow, but once we really get into seeing, kind of what I described at the end there, the people who were in the tombs at the ruins of the blind dead, and once that starts happening, that's really when it kind of picks up, and it doesn't stop from there. So it does kind of, like I said, it takes a while to pick up. So if you can just kind of bear with it, it's great. I think it's a great, last half to this, or I think the last half is the best in this movie. The acting is not great by any means, but it's fine. And this is just, this is, again, sounding like a lot of criticism, but I love this movie so much, like, just because of the atmosphere, the creature effects, the little bit of gore we get, and that's another thing too. Going into this, I thought they were going to be a lot more gory, but this one's really not. It doesn't have. I mean, the effects and the kills that we get are not overly gory, but what we get is fine. Like, I mean, it's not a problem. And I love the effects in this. They're so cheesy, but they're classic, and the way that these things move and just kind of are like a pack, and they kind of swarm in on these people. It's so great, and the lore behind them is super cool. It comes out, about why they are the blind dead. I'm not gonna give that away, in this video. If you want to watch, or if you want to find that out, you got to watch the movie. But the whole kind of story behind them is so interesting, and it's such a neat little, like I said, to me, it is absolutely a zombie film. And it's so much fun. I love it. I can't recommend it enough. It's one that I went into, blind. I didn't know anything about it besides the fact that, it was one of those that kept popping up, like that it was a cult classic, and but I don't hear a lot of people talk about it really. But I really enjoy it, and I think it should be, seen by anybody who really enjoys classic kind of zombie films. Even if you don't want to think of them as zombies. And like I said, it's great. It's a fun little one, especially this time of year. It's a good late night one, and it's a fun little series to sit through too. And they're not very long. The English version of this one is about 1 hour and 20 minutes, I believe. So they're not overly long, and all of them are fairly short. This one definitely kind of stands out. I don't really know if I could say that, because they're all fairly different, but this is the first one, and then you get The Return of the Blind Dead, which is also known, the DVD copy I have is Return of the Evil Dead, excuse me, and then you get The Ghost Galleon, and then The Night of the Seagulls. So they all kind of stand alone in their own kind of way, but we'll get into that down the road. We're going to cover all of these, and like I said, we're going to rank all of them. And so, having said that, since I'm going to do a ranking of all of the films together at the end of the reviews, I think I'm not going to rate this one. I'm just going to I'm going to let my ranking say everything that I need to say in that. So, and that'll be its own video, but definitely check this movie out. It's also got really good music. I meant to say that too, and very good sound effects. That's another thing. Sound is very important in a film, period. And I love the sound design in this. The dubbing is not the best, like I said. So I recommend watching it in Spanish if you can. But I prefer the way that the English version is done. And another thing I'll also say about this one that was slightly disappointing, or not really disappointing necessarily, but they they are the blind dead, and the thing is they'll hear your heart beating, and that's not enough to really, or I'm sorry, even if you're quiet and all this, they can hear your heart beating, and that's how they'll find you. And there is a scene that plays on that in this movie, and it's actually, to me, it's one of the best scenes in the movie. Absolutely, it's very, very tense whenever the main girl is kind of in the room with the blind dead. But they don't really play on the fact that they are blind, and they don't really do more with their hearing, which again is fine. It's not a problem. It's just that's one thing I was going to say, about it is it doesn't really play on that. But I guess you could watch it in any kind of, you could put any kind of title, just Tombs of the Dead or Tombs of the Templar Dead, and it would have been the same thing. It definitely doesn't. It's not it doesn't break it or anything, by any means, But this one, like I said, definitely check this out. Great little movie. I highly recommend it. Fun little classic zombie movie if that's your thing and you're exploring that. Absolutely check this one out. Like I said, great atmosphere, great everything. And so stay tuned for Return of the Blind Dead. That will be next. And so anyway, have a great day and goodbye.